Question number 8, Bill Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is for the Minister of Finance. Does he stand by his statement that the government has effectively left nothing undone to tackle skyrocketing house prices in Auckland?
Honourable Bill English.
Speaker, yes, in the context the statement was made, which was a reference to the work that the government has done with the Auckland City Council, who are the primary decision makers in the Auckland housing market, and it was referring to any steps that would have our, quote, immediate impact. However, I am confident that the measures the government is taking will improve housing affordability over time, because there aren't too many steps you can take that have immediate impact. For instance, working with the council to build on the 100 special housing areas around the country, specific projects on public land, including 3 in Christchurch and forthcoming announcements in Tamaki, taking off tariffs and duties on building materials, further reforms of the RMA to encourage councils to deliver long-term improvements in land supply, and significant reforms of social housing, opening up the market to community providers and much more efficient use of the government's extensive land holdings, particularly in Auckland.
Supplementary question, Bill Twyford.
Was he consulted on the title of the Reserve Bank Deputy Governor's speech, Action Needed to Reduce Housing Imbalances? And if so, what did he take the action called for to mean? Was it the kind of action that has seen Auckland house prices go up on average by more than $300,000 on his watch?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no, I wasn't. But the speech outlines a range of actions that the government has taken. And the member needs to understand here that the local council makes the decisions because the decisions affect the local residents. That is exactly what happens. And the member opposed the special housing areas legislation. Well, why did Labor oppose the special housing areas legislation if it thought that the government should get on and do things? That legislation has been of great assistance to the council in encouraging the supply of a lot more land into the Auckland market, and we look forward to the members' support in the future for further measures that the government intends to take.
Order. Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
Does he agree with the Prime Minister that house prices are not overvalued? And if so, how does he reconcile that with the fact that there's currently the biggest gap in affordability between Auckland and the rest of the country since the Massey Index started 25 years ago, while homeowners in the region have to cop LVRs and higher interest rates because of his failed policy?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, Auckland is reaping the rewards, as we all are, of a planning philosophy going back into the mid-90s, which that member supported, which was designed to stop Auckland growing. And we have legislated over the top of that ridiculous planning philosophy in order to allow Auckland City to grow. That's what's working.
Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
When the Reserve Bank and commentators are calling house prices a risk to the economy, first home buyers are locked out of the market and offshore speculators are making a killing, how is it acceptable to throw up your hands and say there is nothing else to do?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, as I said to the member, the comment he's referring to was made in the context of the work that is being done between Auckland City Council and the government to have immediate impact on the housing market. And if the member would like to enlarge his view, he should talk to the Auckland City Council about how willing they are to allow the government to take their decision-making off them. Because actually we're not willing to take their decision-making off them. We have to work with that council because the decisions they make affect local people. We are working together. We have made significant progress. Of course it's not fast enough. But we can only go as quickly as the Auckland City Council will actually go.
Supplementary question, Phil Twyford.
Is the reason he said there's nothing left to do because the reality is that this is now a tired old government that has run out of ideas.
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no, that's simply not correct. The government, as the member may well know, the government is working with what is a lengthy pipeline of development. And just by way of illustration, it was not uncommon in Auckland to take 10 years to get a new subdivision. Not uncommon. We're now getting those subdivisions through, in some cases, in less than a year. That's simply how long it takes. And even if the government wants to build thousands of houses, it still needs the consent of the Auckland City Council to build those houses, and they have to be built consistent with the Auckland Unitary Plan, which that member's voters wants to see in place.
Voters, actually.
Question number 9, Jan